I hope that some of you have already purchased Node MCU and started working on it. During our last session, we have seen the introduction of Node MCU. Then we have seen how to control devices with help of a mobile app, how to read sensor data, then how to upload it on the cloud. So up till now, we have seen the two clouds. One which we have seen was Ubidots. Another just yesterday we have seen that was a ThinkSpeak. So this was the Node MCU pin diagram with which all of you are must be familiar now onwards. While writing the program, you should take care that whenever we are specifying pin number D4, that means that D4 is a GPIO2, which is mentioned over here. My slides are visible and am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So suppose if you are specifying pin D4, then D4 means it is a basically GPIO2. Internal LED of Node MCU is connected with GPIO2. So while writing program, you should take care. Both is separate. This is a GPIO2, but this is a D4. Similarly, if you are writing D2, then it is a GPIO4. So whatever the external sensors or external devices you are connecting, you will be able to get 3.3 volt terminal from here and ground from here. So there are more than one ground. So suppose if you require more number of ground, then you can use all these pins. This is also ground. This is a ground. This is also ground. And this is also ground. So you can use any ground pin out of these available pins. But suppose if you require more than one 3.3 volt pin, then there are three pins are available. One is here, and another one is shown here. And only one 5 volt pin is available. But mostly you will need 3.3 volt to interface with your external hardware. This Hello World program we have already discussed earlier. It's a very much simple program, very much similar to your Arduino board, where we are writing here that LED pin equal to 2. That means we are specifying these 2 as not D2, but it is directly specifies GPIO2 because our internal LED is connected with GPIO2. And if you look at the pin number on Node MCU, it is a D4. If it is a D4, then you should not write 4 here, but you have to write here 2. Otherwise, your LED will not blink. So that is the care you should take. This is last time we have seen, we were reading the LDR data. So whenever we put the finger on LDR sensor, ultimately, light will not fall on this LDR. And then, are you getting my slide and my voice clear? બધાને મારો અવાજ સંભળાય છે? મને સ્લાઇડ પણ દેખાય છે. Okay. So whenever light falls on the LDR, the resistance will reduce, and because of that, voltage will reduce at the output. And when the voltage will reduce, naturally the digital output available from the ADC of our Node MCU will also reduce. Because we are using a 10-bit ADC, the overall range of values what we are getting here is 0 to 1023. That means if it is a perfect dark condition, the value of this resistance will be highest, and mostly all of the voltage you will be getting across the LDR. And ideally, for a perfect dark condition, the output will be a 1023. And if you consider that there is a more light is falling on the LDR, then the LDR resistance will reduce, and because of the voltage divider equation, the voltage will reduce, and because of that ADC output will reduce, so it will be near to 0. So ideally you should get, for a perfect white light condition, you should get 0, and perfect dark condition you should get 1023, but you will never get that values, right? Because we are using some resistance R1 here. So if you just make this 0 resistance, then only you will get 0 output, but this 0 will not happen anytime. LDR will have some resistance value. Even in a dark condition, this LDR will not be a perfectly open, so you will never get 0 and 1023 as output, but some range you will get in between some 100 to 1000 depending on the light condition. And this is actually a command we are using, light data equal to analog read light pin, and light pin we are using here is 0 because A0 pin at which we are connecting our sensor. And here we put the if else condition. If light data is greater than 500, then we want to glow the LED. So we make that particular LED pin equal to high by giving the command digital write LED pin comma high. So internal LED will glow. And at the same time, it will also print the message that it is a dark condition. Because whenever there is a dark condition, the output value from this will increase, and it will increase more than 500. Whenever there is a light condition is there, during the daylight condition, at that time the value will be less than 500. So we will stop the LED and we will print the message that it is a bright condition. So this is the data that you can locally display, as well as you will be able to upload it onto the cloud. So yesterday we have seen the ThingSpeak cloud. Before that we have seen the Ubidot cloud. You have also used the mobile APK. Mobile APK is already available in our Microsoft team. Today I will also send you through WhatsApp group APK file which you can install in your mobile. But remember that this red button in a mobile app, it is controlling your pin number GPIO5, that is a pin D1. So it will control this D1 pin of your node MCU. This green icon will control GPIO2, that is a pin number D6. And this blue icon will control GPIO4. Now, whatever the devices you connect on this pin, that will be controlled by these buttons. So when you click on this on button, device will become on. When you click on the off button, device will become off. That means whenever you will click on, put your finger on this red on button, the logic output will be high on D1 pin. Whenever you will put your finger on off button, that logic 0 output will be available from the pin D1. And similarly for pin D6 and D2. So you can connect external devices with all these 3 pins. This test LED on and test LED off, these 2 buttons are given to control the internal LED. So this will test your board. If your board is working, then these 2 buttons will work. Before using this app, please remember that you have to enter your Node MCU IP here, right? So once your Node MCU is connected with your hotspot, there are many ways to find out what is the IP address of that Node MCU. The first easiest way is that in our program itself we have written, when you upload the program and then you click on the serial monitor, it will display the IP address there only. That at this IP address your Arduino board is, or your Node MCU board is connected. And the same IP address you can insert it here. You can also use advanced IP scanner, or many other IP scanner applications are also available on mobile phone, which you can use to find out what is IP address of your Node MCU. So that IP address you have to enter here, and then you have to just click on this OK button, and then after you will be able to control the devices with help of your mobile application. So IPK as well as program, both I will send you through WhatsApp group. It will be also available on Google Classroom. It will be also available on Microsoft Teams. Then today we will also see the device control using the web app. If you do not want to utilize your mobile phone to control the devices, you can directly type the URL into the browser and then you will be able to control the devices. This last time already we have seen with help of a UB.cloud. I am sure that all of you must have opened the account in UB.cloud, and this is the actually URL for that UB.cloud. If you have not opened your account yet, please register and upload, create your account so that you will be able to upload the data in this UB.cloud. There are very good graphical widgets are available in a UB.cloud. This will be exercise for you, those who have already purchased the Node MCU board. You have to design Node MCU based system so that it detects the level of alcohol and alert person by email and operates the relay. So this is actually, basically alcohol sensor will give you analog data. So now instead of LDR, you will be connecting alcohol sensor there. And whenever a person is at drink, he will not be able to drive because car will not start at all, because we will be connecting devices as a engine starter. So our engine starter key will be connecting with our Node MCU board. So if the person is drunk, then automatically the vehicle will not start. So this is a kind of exercise that you have to write a program for it. And alcohol sensor is very low cost. You can purchase it to prepare a small projects, and then you can prepare some small mini projects for this. So all of you have to prepare one micro project for this course. So you can select this title as your micro project also. Today I will show you this send temperature humidity data to the cloud. This is a digital sensor. We will use DHT22. This is a digital humidity and temperature sensor. We will connect this with Node MCU and we will send this temperature and humidity data to UB.clouds clouds. Today UB.clouds we have already seen, so today I will show you the ThingSpeak cloud. The data pin is connected with GPIO2, that is at pin number D4, and I will demonstrate now this program to you. So let's go back to the Arduino program for this particular task. So this is the Arduino program. Its name given is send DHT data to ThingSpeak. So in this program, it reads the sensor data from Node MCU and transmit it to the ThingSpeak. DHT22 is used to measure the temperature and humidity. To use this sensor, we are including one library that is called dht.head. So this is a header file you need to include. This Arduino program screen is visible to all of you.
Sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
It is visible. Okay, fine. Then you have to include this ESP8266 Wi-Fi.h. Then you have to specify API key. I have two accounts, so I am using API key of one account. I have also another account, but I am not using that key. If I wanted to use that account, then just I will copy and paste this key from here to our program. So at present, I have just commented this key. I can also remove this key. There is no harm in that. Then this API key, you will get it from your account. So whenever you will open the account in a ThingSpeak, you will find the API key there. SSID and password, this is your mobile hotspot SSID and password. Then this is the server which we are using to upload our data, api.thingspeak.com. So just you have to replace this SSID and password of your credentials. DHT pin is connected to pin GPIO2, that's why 2 is written here. You will be able to connect at any other pin also, but then you have to change this number here, right? This is a DHT class, and out of that we are creating a DHT object, right? So DHT is the object we are creating. Wi-Fi client is a class, and we are creating a client object. We set up this serial.begin 115200. So this is for a local serial transmission. DHT begin will begin the DHT sensor. Serial.println will print the message connecting to SSID. It will display the SSID, that whenever it will be connected to SSID, it will give you a message. Suppose your name of your SSID is India, then it will give the message connecting to India. If name of SSID is EC, then it will give the message connecting to EC. So whatever the SSID your name will be there, it will be displayed here. Wi-Fi.begin into bracket SSID comma password, so it will connect with your Wi-Fi access point. And if it is not able to connect, suppose your access point is off, then it will just print this dot 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 messages there. Once it is connected, it will give the message Wi-Fi connected. This is actually a loop in which the parameter h will read the humidity. So dht.read humidity is the function which will directly give the humidity data, because it is a digital sensor, so you will get directly a digital data out of it. And normally it will be a float value. Then similarly, T is equal to dht.read temperature. It will directly give the digital data of temperature. So now both the data is available with you, H and T. And suppose if you are not getting H and T from the DHT, if your connections are not okay, then it will display the message failed to read from the DHT sensor. So if you remove some of the wire from the DHT sensor, it will directly print this message that it's not getting the data from the DHT sensor. But suppose if it gets the data, then what it will do, it will connect with the server, that is our ThingSpeak server, which is, you can specify URL or you can specify directly api.thingspeak.com. So you can specify any name here. You can also directly specify live IP address there. Then first of all, it will post the API key, then field 1 and field 2. Field 1 is your humidity, field 1 is your temperature and field 2 is your humidity. It will create a string for both this field and then it will post. Once it will post, it will be available on the ThingSpeak cloud. And this is the messages we are displaying locally. That means locally we are displaying temperature as well as humidity, as well as then after, once it is sent to the ThingSpeak, we display the message sent to ThingSpeak. And then after, once the task is over, we say client.stop. And at every 10 seconds, we are sending the data. If you want to monitor this data locally, we can just click on this serial monitor. Serial monitor will give us, the data which is transmitted locally. So this is our serial monitor, which says that temperature, because in my room AC is on, so temperature is 21 degrees centigrade, humidity is 83.70, because humidity is more now. So this data is being transmitted to cloud at present, because it is giving also message that send it to ThingSpeak. At every 10 seconds, it is sending data to the ThingSpeak. So let's now look at the ThingSpeak server. This is our ThingSpeak server. As you can observe here that here we are getting some data. This is the humidity data. In January 20, it was a winter, so humidity was less. But now because of monsoon season, the humidity has increased. So this is the sensor data which we are getting at the cloud. Similarly, you can see that during this month, the temperature was reducing because of the winter season. And when I was inside the room, the temperature was high, but then I have switched over on my AC, so that's why now temperature is less. So it is showing different points here. And you can see here the last entry is less than a minute ago, right? You can also export this data. And from here you will get the API. So you can read this and you can upload the humidity and temperature data on the cloud. I have shown you the ThingSpeak cloud. Now you try yourself for the Ubidots cloud. Similarly, you can also use Google Firebase. There are so many free clouds are available for students, right? So you will be able to open the account in any cloud and use it. For a commercial purpose, you need to purchase the cloud space, but for an education purpose, you don't require it, right? So if you have any doubt, I can answer your query. Otherwise, we will discuss the next portion. I think many of you were facing a problem of kill software. So let me invite some of you